Hey, did you bring that resolution back?
Uh, Dwight wasn't there. He just had his secretary there, but I have it. I have it in my office.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm gonna try to find
Is
it.
your office locked?
No.
No. Is it laying on your desk? I'm gonna run down and get it because Chris is supposed to come by and sign it.
Yeah, it's on the just on the desk in the input area.
Okay, I'm gonna run down and get it. Mhm.
Gary, you ready to get started?
Yeah, whenever you are, Tim.
You want to wait for the judges to come back?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
I'm gonna move us to.
Sure, I'll be right back.
She's back, Tim.
What? Oh, I'm good.
That just
Mhm. Mhm. Good, thank you. Oh,
And just to go forward.
who is that?
all right, Jerry, you ready?
Yep, we're ready, Tim.
All right. We have a quorum.
Yeah, we have 10.
Oh,
You can do the participants, and there's a little arrow.
there's Zeb.
So
Do we have enough, Jerry? I'm counting 9 or 10.
yeah, we have. I have 10 right now.
Who?
So,
Okay.
Somebody joined by phone. Who was that?
I'm
Might be
on
Zeb.
phone. Angie Mitchell.
oh, we got you, Angie. We had somebody that called in on the number.
Oh, okay.
Hang on just a minute.
Is it Becky?
No.
Is it end in 7515?
Last digits are 583.
Oh, okay. Alan Wells is here too. He and I are together, so
Okay.
No, we should be
that'll
good
give
then.
you another one. Okay. Yeah, Alan's with me. Let me put you back on speaker. All right, so we'll get started. Get the meeting called to order, and we'll go over the approval from the minutes from last meeting. Jerry, the only thing I saw on the minutes that when I looked at it, item 2, it says Zeb Smith presented a grant to the LEPC. Does that need to say grant request, or is it okay the way it's written?
Well, I mean, it was a request. I can add that to or make an amendment to the minutes.
I'm not saying we need to. I'm just asking the question. If we don't need to, if it's good, then we're fine.
I think it's fine.
All right.
You said this was presented as a grant to LAPC or grant request. Should we change that to request?
I mean, it was a request, a grant request.
Jerry, are you conferring with council?
Yes. I can make the change, Tim. I can just present it next time.
Actually, you can make the change and, we can approve them as modified.
Okay.
So we're gonna add the request to that?
Yes.
Okay. Does anybody else see anything else or on the minutes from last meeting that we need to discuss or change?
I move we approve the minutes as amended. John Edgington, Red Cross.
Okay. We have a second?
Alan will second.
Alan Wells seconded. All right. Any more? No more discussion. Is there anybody opposed to accepting the minutes as amended? All right. So motion passed. Jerry, you want to do your financial report?
Yeah. So the financial report, our current bank balance $30,412.63. As far as encumbered funds that we have voted on, but as far as paid out, the city of French for rehab truck repairs. So I had an issue, and I talked to Tim about this. So we had a motion last time to approve the repairs for the truck, and the motion was made for the money to go to the city of French. Whenever we were discussing it through some of the in the minutes or in the recording, I had to go back in the recording, and Tim had said the check would go to the Firefighters Association for Fritch. So I had to go in and do some research on who was, and the motion was actually made for the city of Fritch, not the association. And then after getting with Zeb, and he kind of made sure we cleared that up, that the city of Fritch is the one that did pay for the repairs. So we reissued the check to the city of Fritch for that amount, which was as in the original motion last time. So that was $3,190. And then encumbered funds for Golden Plains Hospital for our last meeting at $9,526.17. So as far as the money, we have it encumbered, approved to spend, but I haven't written the check yet because the freezer hadn't arrived on site yet. And it's that's going to be kind of in the next rest of the presentation here, but the freezer should be actually on site tomorrow. So then we should.
May I comment on that? Because Moderna issued something yesterday stating that they have done additional studies on their vaccine. Not Moderna, I mean Pfizer. Did additional studies, and they say that it does not need to be super cold. That a normal laboratory freezer will work, or medical freezer, between, I think it is 5 degrees and negative 13 degrees. It doesn't have to be negative 94 anymore.
So that was some information that came out, but the emergency use authorization specifically requires the ultra cold storage. So the Pfizer that's still coming out will still have to be stored at these temperatures until the emergency use authorization is approved for that different type of storage through the CDC and whatnot. So as of now, everybody still has to store it in that ultra cold. And we have, as I'm going to tell you here in a little bit, we have 1,000 doses of Pfizer that's going to be here tomorrow, along with the freezer.
Jerry, what do we do? Well, go ahead.
Yeah.
We can talk about it when we get down to the freezer part, but we're curious to see what we're going to do if the vaccine shows up and our freezer doesn't.
Well, luckily we have a clinic that's scheduled, and we'll get into that also. At least I
Okay.
already have a plan on that. But I was just on this portion we have on the financial report $9,526.17 encumbered for the freezer, approved through the committee for the freezer.
Jerry, do you know, is there any shipping that's going to be included, or does that include shipping, or is there going to be a shipping?
That was the total cost of getting the freezer to the pharmacy.
Okay. All right. Any discussion on the financial report? Anybody have any questions or anything they want to talk about? All right. Well, if there's no discussion, then we'll entertain a motion to accept the financial report.
I'll make the motion to accept the financial report.
And that was Alan Wells.
Stropel second.
All right. Motion made and seconded. All those opposed? All right. Moving right along. Compliance report.
Since our December 3rd meeting, we had Phillips 66 submitted 2 events, wastewater event and a flaring event. I have both of those documents in our monthly file. So if you want to see a copy of that, I can send it to you. But, the flaring event was, I believe, it was quite a few days that they had submitted for the temperature issue we had last week. But other than that, that's the only 2 we have.
Okay. All right. We'll move along to right to know. Anything on that, Alan?
No, I don't have anything new on the right to know at this time.
All right. No update.
No, all of
What I have on
the,
there is Steers put out a deal on some updates they had on their portal, and some new training that they're putting on their website is also available. So if you're
yeah, and all reports should be submitted by Sunday.
Yeah, I'm getting a ton of emails coming in for tier 2 stuff.
Okay. How about public education? John or Warren, you got anything?
I don't have anything, no. You there, Warren? I don't think he's here.
Okay. Move on to our next item, hazardous materials, Bill or Chief Galloway. All right. Move on to item 8, emergency response, Bob or Zeb.
Hello, Bob or Zeb's here. This is John Edgington with the Red Cross. Warren was telling me, and I should have taken notes. I've already forgotten most of the story, but apparently Red Cross had some supplies that they'd allocated for the cold spell, and in any case, some of those either were, I'm not sure if they were left over or if they were used or they were whatever, but some of those supposed to be coming to Hutchinson County. I don't remember if it was the city of Borger or the county that was going to get them, but there was some, I think it was maybe it's a pallet of water. I'm not sure if there's anything else.
Yeah, emergency management, Borger and Hutchinson County, we've got with Betsy and ordered 4 pallets of water, which once we get in, we'll kind of split it up and get it out to our local departments.
Okay.
All right. So I don't think anybody spoke up for anything about emergency response. I don't think Bob was here. Zeb was going to be on, but I don't. Maybe he
Hey, I'm on now, Tim.
Okay.
I'm traveling back from I-40. I'm on I-40 right now, so I've got y'all muted. That way y'all don't hear all the road noise. Anyway, at this time, no, I don't have anything major. I visited with Britton with Teeks the other day, kind of what some upcoming training is going to look like as far as some of this COVID stuff kind of comes to an end and we can start doing some more training. And so that'll probably be at the next meeting before I can really report on any of that.
All right. Thanks, Zeb. Move on to item 9, unfinished business. First thing on the agenda is the COVID-19 update.
Okay. Currently, Hutchinson County cases, 1,056 confirmed, 454 probable. Total cases, and that's including the actives and all that. Active cases 63. Currently 63 active cases. Yeah. Recovered cases 1,390. We have 68 fatalities reported. These are state numbers. As far as new cases with the state, 2,355. That's yesterday. And 64 fatalities reported yesterday. So the state was through the winter storm event. They had kind of backed off on some of the reporting because some locations were closed. They had sent us out something saying they're trying to catch up. So we might see an influx of some numbers here.
Yeah, I got an update today.
In the next couple of days. So hopefully we'll catch up with some numbers. This is hospital data for the state. 6,964 patients of COVID in hospitals. As far as available ventilators and equipment, we still have quite a bit of equipment we can still request if we need to. This is our trauma service area, our region. This is a pretty good number compared to the last couple of months. Lab confirmed COVID-19 patients in hospitals, 65. At times we had BSA Northwest over double that number in just one hospital. So for this whole area, for 65 patients is really good. This is specific to BSA Northwest. I kind of put on there kind of several different dates. You can see what the numbers are doing. Like I said, the ICU utilization, it dropped, but then we're kind of staying in that 75 to 80 number. The hospitalization rate, you can see over on the side, it was ticking down, so that's definitely good. And ventilator use was ticking down too, so that's also good. This is the number for our trauma service area. This is one specific to Governor's Executive Order 32 for additional or adding occupancy to certain businesses and opening up some certain businesses. This number has to be below 15% for 7 consecutive days, which we finally reached that number. So you can see back in the beginning of January, we're at 22.36. And that was right about when we started around here, our vaccination effort. And then you can see in February, and then as of today. Golden Plains Community Hospital was 60%, but that actually got an update from Don Bates, the hospital, that actually dropped to, I think it was 20 or 25%, somewhere in that area. As of today, so we've been allocated from the state to Hutchinson County 1,000 doses of vaccine. So these numbers will change over the next couple of days because we've been allocated another additional 200 doses of Moderna. And then we're also, one of our local pharmacists here who we've been working with on our vaccination plan was able to get a hold of another county who was able to get us about 975 doses, roughly 975 doses of Pfizer vaccine. And that's what we're going to be getting in to do a clinic, hopefully this end of this week. So you can see with Hutchinson County being allocated 1,000 doses, we've been able to vaccinate 1,922 people with the first dose, and then fully vaccinated people, 796 people. So it's well over what we've been allocated in Hutchinson County, but people are going to other locations, which is good to get their vaccinations. This is currently a list of providers that are approved, and then there's a couple that are still pending, but approved for vaccine distribution in Hutchinson County.
Oh, but damn.
Yeah, we got our.
So week 11 vaccine allocation, kind of just went over this: 200 doses of Moderna, 975 of Pfizer. Emergency management currently working with Borger Pharmacy to set up a 2-day clinic, Johnson Youth Center. and we're hopefully here pretty soon. We'll be sending out a notification to Hutch Health. Um, and this is, if make sure if you can push this out to people, they can get notifications on vaccine clinics and how to register for that. Because we have set up a ticketing type system, so people can register and get in to get their vaccine. Let's move on to us. Okay. Okay. Update on the freezer. So this is the shipping notification that we received. The tracking for the freezer. It'll be here on the 24th, which is tomorrow. So once we get the freezer in and in play, then so it'll help us with our quantity of vaccine within Hutchinson County.
Jerry, does that mean delivered to the pharmacy or to the hospital?
Well, it's scheduled to be delivered to the hospital, but I've talked to Don and he's going to have it shipped directly to the pharmacy.
Okay.
So once it gets there, then we'll move it to the pharmacy and get it in there.
Okay.
Okay, that's all I had on that, Tim.
All right. Cover that in the freezer. Any, so moving on to the next item, any new business?
I just want to point out, along with Jerry's statistics, that one chart showed almost 2,000 people have received their first dose. And then we're looking at potentially another 1,000 coming up this week. Our total countywide population of people 65 and older is only 3,500. So if you just look at just the numbers, we're hitting a huge, we're really taking a chunk out of that target group. So I suspect here pretty quick we're going to be able to continue to move on and start focusing on other groups for the vaccine.
Good deal. That's good news.
Hey, Whistler, on that note, are we looking at any kind of time frame or dedication to get the first responders that were missed the first round? I know we had a few that could not receive it because they'd been within the 90 days of having it. So I didn't know if we had any update on that.
I'm not aware of anybody else on the list that didn't get it. If so, they be watching and get ready to sign up or get with me within the next hour and get me names and emails, and I can get them registered.
And just because we're in the 1 group doesn't mean the 1A group stops. So when we do open these registrations, they're more than welcome to register.
Okay.
Okay. We want to go ahead and move on to new business.
Yeah, this one is for a grant that was submitted, and I'd send that out over email for review. An application from the Board of Pharmacy in the amount of $450, and Whistler can kind of run with the details on it.
Yeah, thanks, Jerry. Basically what we're looking, a lot of people may not realize this, when we do those clinics like we've done over at the youth center and get these mass groups targeted and stuff like that, the Board of Pharmacy being a local owned small business, they actually have to pay somebody at Amarillo to come cover the store while they're out. Anybody that's kind of really read into the vaccine business, it's not a money-making venture at all. I think on average they're getting like $10 to $12 for the administrative fee. That's to enter that data into Amitrek, all the other paperwork, all the other additional reporting besides Amitrek they have to do to the state. So kind of what there was some kind of sidebar discussion at the last event out at the youth center, and it was brought up, why don't we see about pitching this to the Lepc to see if we can basically reimburse that backfill cost for the pharmacy. Their expense of having to have somebody work the store so that they can be at the youth center getting this vaccine out to the public. And in a nutshell, that pretty much sums it up. I also wanted to throw this out as kind of a, this one opportunity that's already occurred to see what the thoughts are, especially as we move into future vaccine events going on over later this week, and then to follow up again in the probably 3 to 4 weeks from now when we do the second dose events.
So Jason, is this just covering that one vaccination clinic we've already had, or is this for some of the ones in the? Okay.
This is just for the past one that occurred. It was $450 is what their expense was. So the going rate to rent a pharmacist, if that's a term, is about $60 an hour that she has to pay somebody to come cover her store while she's out.
Okay.
You know, personally, I think it's a great opportunity to support their efforts. And honestly, this extra 1,000 doses coming in, we would not have got it if it wasn't for her reaching out, forging connections, and networking with other pharmacists throughout the region. So don't want to see her penalized by any means for leaving the office and coming out and doing this.
So we already know we got two more clinics coming up. We're 2 more days worth, and we would probably anticipate that they would ask for support in this. Do we want to change this to the dollar amount? So you're looking at 3 clinics. You're looking at about $1,350 if it stays where it is right now. Do we want to change this to where we cover for a certain amount that they can submit up to, or do we need to have them submit each time?
6. So we're looking at a total of the 1 past and 5 future days. So 6 days total. There's some variations though. Some days could be longer, some days could be shorter. I don't think she objects to a reimbursement and keep it at an actual cost. That way.
Well, and that's, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Tim.
So my thought was, do we want to say, we want to put a dollar amount out there at, $1,500 or $2,000, and they can submit up to that. And obviously, we're only going to pay actual costs, but
Okay.
does that make it easier on them as opposed to having to wait for us monthly to approve? Because they have to make payroll budget too. So we should do everything we can, I think, to make it as easy on the pharmacy as we can.
Yeah, I'm sure they wouldn't object to having something like that in play.
Yeah, Tim, like you said, I like that idea. I think it's good to just have that done ahead of time. If we have to push a meeting back or we don't have a quorum or something along those lines, at least that way it's kind of proactively approved.
Yeah. Oh, and just one other thing, and I'm not sure I articulated on the document or not. This is strictly just for that backfill, that one pharmacist at the border pharmacy. So when she comes out and she brings all her staff and everybody out to the youth center, this reimbursement amount doesn't count for any of that. It's strictly just to keep the pharmacy going. So
Right.
It's not like she's charging for, the use of her staff at the youth center. And in fact, we've had several other doctors and pharmacists and personnel involved in coming up and helping out with these events. So
Right.
actually orchestrating that part of it is very low cost. It's just, like I said, strictly that backfill for that one position.
Right. So Jerry, can we, as a group, can we change the amount on this request, or do we need to have them resubmit that?
Can just amend the request to whatever amount y'all
Right.
want to put on it.
Well, I would just say, so that they're covered and we can get money flowing to them as quickly and as efficiently as we can, that we would just anticipate the 6 clinics at the amount they have and go ahead and amend the request to $2,700. And then if they submit for that full amount, then we're covered. And if they submit for less, then it'll be easy. If it goes over, then we'll readdress it.
Yeah, I agree, and that actually covers 2-month time frame of clinics.
So up to $2,700 specifically for backfill of the pharmacy, or do you want to put any restrictions on that, or just say they can apply for reimbursement up to $2,700?
I think we almost have to show it as backfill on the pharmacy, because if we don't, then
Yeah, I think it leaves it open to a lot
it
of,
kind of leaves it open to discretion of individuals.
yeah.
Okay.
What do you got, what do the rest of you guys think? Is it,
Yeah.
all right,
I've got nothing else.
okay. Okay, so we can amend that. If everybody's okay, we'll amend the request for the border pharmacy to, at this point, have a $2,700 limit set on a reimbursement for backfilling the pharmacy staff during vaccination clinics.
So moved.
I'll second. Angie Mitchell.
All right, motion made and seconded. Anybody opposed? We'll get the thumbs up from Jason, so we're good. All right, motion, so that motion, that grant request is passed. Any other new business, Jerry?
I had on the agenda the consider and approve, and you asked me to put this on there for the next meeting. I don't know exactly what we want to do with it, so I'll put it on the agenda to talk about it and take any action if we wanted to. You put on here consider and or approve a policy or procedure or in procedure of disbursement of LAPC funds for emergency actions.
Yeah, and I honestly, I have not had any time to give that any more thought or look at that anymore. So,
Move it to the next one.
I don't have anything to sorry to say that, but
Was there not something already in the bylaws?
Just other than the $500 amount of so a single $500 amount can be spent without the two signature and approval of the committee.
I know when my thinking on this was when it came up about that freezer, and it was kind of in between meetings, and then it was that time of year we were, I know we were kind of struggling to get everybody together to vote on that, but, looking at the cost of the freezer, I don't think, on that dollar amount, I think we still have to figure out a way to get people together, so.
Yeah. As I say, something of that dollar amount, I would disagree with that just because what we have seen. I'm not saying
Right.
the people we have that's going to take advantage of that, but we have
Yeah.
kind of seen
I
some
think
of that.
I think with the ability to do a Zoom meeting, it's a little easier now.
Mhm.
Yes, I agree
Right.
with that.
Yes. I think we just leave it where it's at for, if we need to discuss it further, we can later.
Yeah, let's you can take that off the agenda, Jerry. I think
Okay.
I'm with Alan. It comes up again, we can figure out a way on that.
So if we bounce past that to the next one on meeting date,
Mm-hmm.
23rd.
So
That's spring break.
yeah, March is spring break time. I don't know if we want to bump March and go to April, or because of the vaccination stuff going on, if we want to go ahead and have a meeting in March in case we need to discuss something along those lines. What are you guys' thoughts?
Do we still
So,
have volunteers for-
Personally, I'm not opposed to going ahead and scheduling one for the 23rd because of the vaccine clinics coming up and the potential of severe weather coming in the next month. We are getting into our spring thunderstorm time frame, so
But yeah, it is that time. I was thinking another cold snap.
Okay. Is everybody in agreement on 23rd? Does it work for everybody?
Yes,
The Tuesday after spring break? Brandon, are you gonna be available for that?
Yeah, I'm double checking. I think so.
I won't be here.
We have an audit here, so I may or may not be tied up. I should be able to get free for that, but
I'm
just
looking
in
at,
case. So,
is that March 23rd?
yes.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm tentatively scheduled for trial in Moore County.
They finally got those charges filed against you.
Yeah, yeah. I probably will not have to be there by Tuesday. Typically, I don't have to testify on those till the Thursday or Wednesday or Thursday of the whatever the
Yeah.
starts.
I can
But
do that.
Okay.
but
Like
I
I
mean,
say, I should.
more than likely, Tim, even if I have to be there, I can take my Surface Pro, and I doubt that we'll be in court at lunch. So if nothing else, I can dial in from there.
Okay. All right. Well, if everybody's good with March 23rd, then we'll, that's what we'll set our next meeting for.
So before we jump to adjournment, I do need to go back. I just checked my email. TCEQ has actually extended the deadline for Tier 2 reports to April the 1st.
On storm spotter training, since you brought up storms, Alan, that's going to be virtual this year. I think Pender's posted some tentative dates on the OEM Facebook page, so anybody needs to get up on their storm spotting.
There's quite a few of them coming up. The next one is the 25th, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Then it goes March 2nd, 3rd, 6th, 10, 11. So there's a lot to choose from.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Somebody else got anything else we need to discuss or kick around? Okay. Next meeting will be March 23rd. Jerry will send out the meeting invite and the minutes and the agenda as needed. We will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Alan.
Alan made a motion.
Second, Angie Mitchell.
All right. Motion made and seconded. Anybody opposed? All right. You guys have a good month. If you need anything, give us a call.